Welcome back, friends. We're here. We made a second episode. Still Macau, China. Let's talk about it. Alonzo Menifield fighting Zhang Mingyang. It's an interesting fight. A lot of people are hyped up on this Zhang Mingyang. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Menifield first. His last 3 fights, he's been so-so. He did fight Azmat Mirzakhanov. Guy's a killer. Guy's a sniper. He was on a killer's row, probably a 10-win fight at least, before he just ran into Paulo Costa recently. He took some big shots. He showed he has a chin. This guy, Azamat, can punch. He's Russian. I wouldn't play with him. I wouldn't one bit. But we're looking here. Can Menifield withstand some of this? I mean, he did. He definitely did. But when he didn't look good, I mean, he took a lot of damage in that fight. Azamat, also, he was taking some damage too. They were definitely trading some power shots, but Azamat was getting the better of it, and he ended up getting the KO. Alonzo went out for a quick second. He came back quick. In his next fight, he ran into Julius Walker. This kid was an up-and-comer. He still is. He's still good. He had great takedown defense throughout the fight. Alonzo, they both were trading big shots, but again, I think Alonzo's chin is underrated. I think he has had some KOs. People look at those KOs and go, oh man, this guy's got a glass chin. I don't think so. If you look at who he's fought, we'll talk about that later when we make our predictions and what kind of angles we can get for the fight. Because now the lines are out. So now we have an idea what's going on. Not every line, just the money lines on the fights. But we'll talk about some over-unders too. All right. And they were playing who has the better chin. But I thought Menifield stole the first round in that fight. Walker, he was young. He looked gassed. He started to look gassed. He tried to wrestle. Menifield just did enough. I thought he got the split decision win and spoiled an up-and-comer, Then he ran into Umar Sy. Umar Sy was undefeated. 11-0 came in. Menifield was plus 500. All right, so he's plus 500. Sy comes in huge, looked massive compared to Menifield, and to look big compared to him, you're big for the division. So he was long. I think it was some 6-inch reach at least. And Sy just really didn't try to do what he does, which is grapple more until the second round. He just kind of, again, maybe he felt Menifield's strength. I mean, the guy is a bull. And, he does make mistakes. He does make some clumsy errors here and there. He does get hit too much. But again, he spoiled an up-and-comer. Sy didn't look good round 1. Held Menifield against the cage round 2. Really didn't do a lot. So I don't know. Maybe one of the judges gave it to him there because everyone hates that. The crowd was booing. The ref kept saying, hey, do something or I'm going to take the position. But again, and then third round close. And they gave the win to Menifield. Majority decision. It wasn't even a split. And I thought so too when I rewatched the fight. And Sy just didn't do much, and maybe that's because Menifield's strong. He ran into a grappler. Then just recently he fought Volkan Oezdemir, which Oezdemir is, again, he's a gatekeeper. He was at one point fighting for the belt. Let's not forget he fought Cormier for the belt, and Cormier beat him. Yeah, he didn't look the greatest, and he's been up and down since then, but he's fought the top competition, which he's lost, but the middling competition he beats. And he does his no time, which is great. It's fun. We've bet on him a couple times, which, you guys won't know that, but you'll figure it out who we're betting on over time. And I thought, he didn't look that good, but Oezdemir makes a lot of people not good. He pressed the action. Oezdemir presses hard, and he ended up getting a KO. He got the good shot. It didn't look good for Menifield, So we'll go on. We'll talk about Zhang now. Zhang Mingyang, coming off the Contender Series. The kids look good. He throws crazy bows from all angles. It seems like he throws more elbows than punches. But he came in his last 3 fights. He recently fought Ozzy Diaz. He was a minus 260 favorite. He caught Ozzy was fighting at 205 because he just recently fought like a week or two ago at 185 against that huge Atada Gumbay or whatever his name was. That guy, that was a fun fight. And Ozzy looked pretty decent. He looked much better at 185, but we're not talking about Ozzy. But he caught Ozzy with a big step in elbow. He kind of had his eyes closed and just nailed him, and it was well-timed. But he was landing some good low kicks. It was a good showing against the guy he's supposed to knock out. And then he came out against Anthony Smith. old Anthony Smith, this Anthony Smith is probably doing more commentating and whatnot. He didn't look in shape. He was just shelling and taking blows. He came in a minus 410 favorite. He put it on Anthony. He really did. Like I said, he threw more elbows than he did punches. And inevitably, Anthony got bloodied up, shelled up. The ref called it game over. And then he most recently came in against Johnny Walker. He was a minus 370 against Johnny Walker at home, in somewhere in China. I don't know exactly where they were at. He's from China. He controlled the action. Walker came right out instead of doing a handshake, shot at him like an idiot and ended up on his back anyway. But he showed some poise there. He showed some durability with exchanging some shots with Walker. He had Walker on the ropes. And Walker was just running in a circle until round one, until he got his legs back because he was rocked. But Walker kept landing these little leg kicks. And round two, it was a little closer, and you could see Zhang Minyang maybe starting to gas a little. Now, is his gas tank questionable? Because all these fights prior, he finished the guy in the first round. So he doesn't finish the guy in the first round. Let's worry a little bit, because he just kept kind of pulling up his shorts, and the crowd was hyped, and he was working Johnny until he wasn't, and then, boom, Johnny lands one big leg kick, and all of a sudden, he was done. He didn't pull an Allberg. He didn't get back up and keep going and land a knockout. He didn't even try. He shelled and took a lot of damage, and Walker got the win. The crowd was silenced. Now, that was his last fight. So this is a young fighter, he's relatively young, I guess, in the UFC's eyes. He was in other organizations. He has 25 fights or something, but in the UFC, it's a little different. And it's like his 5th fight or something. And Menifield, this is like his 17th fight. So I'm thinking it's just going to scream under. These guys are going to come at it. They're going to knock out. Alonzo's been knocked out 3 times. But let's talk about his knockouts. He got knocked out by Allberg, who has the death touch with that left hook on anybody. And we saw it. With a broken leg, he knocks out Prohaska. And I don't think that was staged. I don't think people made it sound like Prohaska just said, let's throw down here. But he did for a second, and then he didn't. And he still was trying to get the finish, but he got KO'd. Allberg is no joke. And then he lost to Azamat. Again, like we talked about, the guy's a sniper. Russian. Again, that adds a couple points, just being Russian. To your chin, at least. Maybe he was drinking vodka before the fight or something. Had a little edge. But he fought a killer there. Again, the guy was on a 10-fight win streak and just recently lost to Paulo Costa, who is no joke. And then he also lost to Uzdemir, who was fighting for a belt at 1.2. So top crop in the 205 division. Zhang Minyang's fought against Ozzy Diaz, guys he's supposed to beat, and he does. Anthony Smith, who was 40 at the time, and he's coming off a loss. Again, now he's coming back in the home area again. He's going to be the co-main event, home favorite, and you got to lay minus 220 on this guy, and we just saw him take a knee injury. We just saw him take some damage. We just saw him have some cardio issues. I don't know. I don't want to lay that price tag. So I'm leaning here. I'm thinking dog or pass. Alonzo is going to bring it. He has big power. A lot of people are just going to say, KO. It's going to be a KO. Zhang by KO. Get off that big number with Zhang. Maybe. Maybe he lands some big elbows. But I think Alonzo can withstand some elbows. I think he shells well. And I think that if he lands any leg kicks, it could be a problem too. And I also think that if we get into round 2 or 3, his cardio could go. Not to say Menifield's got this ultimate gas tank, but we're just talking about, let's find a spot where we can get 2-1 on somebody, not lay 2-1 on a young fighter in his hometown coming off a loss to Johnny Walker. Not to say Johnny Walker's some slouch, but he lost on the feet. He didn't lose on the ground to Johnny, So he definitely didn't knock Johnny out. And Johnny, as we know, has a glass chin. But, Alonzo's got some big power. And I'm a little worried that this guy throws maybe too many bows. And if he's shelling fully, I'm not willing to lay 2-1. So I'm thinking dog or pass. I like the plus 180 on Menifield. And I'm looking at Tapology. It's like 7%. Am I really in that much of a minority here? I'm not saying put your paycheck on this. I'm saying this is entertainment only. Don't even fucking listen to me. Just, maybe listen to me if you want. You don't have to, whatever. Subscribe if you like, maybe push the like button sometimes if you want. I don't care. I'm just, we're just here to try to make some money, and I'm going to tell you some bets, and maybe we'll make some money together. We can't always be broke, but so yeah, and I also like the over. Don't fall for this under. They're going to tell you under on ESPN. They're going to tell you under on the knockout's coming. Zhang's showing. It's done. Menifield's washed. He's 38. I'm 38. I don't feel washed. I don't think he's washed. So, let's go with it. Plus money. Let's take it. And we're here again. We're out. Boom. Fight IQ picks.